minutes toward the top of the hour. On this Tuesday, I'm Sarah Colvin, and joining me live on the phone, I welcome our Director of Public Works, Dan Santos. Dan, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Pretty good. We're, I don't know if you know, but it's pouring rain out there.
Yes, we've been watching on our webcam from Katuitt, and we're hoping that this rain is going to cut some of the humidity we've been feeling over the past couple of days.
Yeah, I've already gotten a couple of tree branch calls, and we may get some flooding calls. These kind of deluges sometimes result in that.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Wanted to, yesterday, I have to say I was driving down South Street about 6 o'clock in the evening, and I saw the big Baxter crane truck in the parking lot of the Armory, and they had the big silver Wastewater Energy Recovery unit that they were loading in there. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Kind of interesting that I saw it being put in. Tell me a little bit about this and what this project is all about, Dan.
Well, sure. It's very much related to, and some people may understand, the operation of a home heat pump for heating and cooling, or even a simple refrigerator or air conditioner. And the way these devices operate is they take heat from one place and remove it to another, or take cold air and remove that to another place. So for a refrigerator, for example, it's taking the heat from the things you put in the refrigerator. It may not intuitively seem that way, but it's taking the heat from those things and pushing that out. So the warm air that comes out of your refrigerator is the heat from the material that's in the refrigerator.
Interesting.
And an air conditioner does a similar thing. It takes the heat out of the room. It's not actually putting cold air in the room. It's taking heat out of the room, and that's why if you go to the outside, that unit, it's sending warm air out. So anyway, that's your simple physics lesson for the day.
You really do have to think about it. You take it away from one place, and it's got to go somewhere else, right?
That's right. It's heat transfer theory. But what we're doing there at the Old Colony, that's our wastewater pump station. So we collect wastewater from certain neighborhoods and areas of town, and they go to a pump station, and from there it gets pumped to the wastewater treatment plant. And so building on this theory of heat transfer, we got a grant, a $50,000 grant from the state to put in a pilot piece of equipment that would take heat from the wastewater and then utilize that through a device to provide heat to a building like the town hall, and that's why that location is good, because it's close to the town hall. And it doesn't take much temperature differential for this to happen. So it turns out that wastewater is always about the same temperature, and it's warmer than it's warm, basically. Right. And so the challenge in this device is that whereby in refrigerators and air conditioners and heating systems, they use either air or water or refrigerant. People may have heard of Freon. They don't make that anymore. But as the medium, we're using wastewater. So the challenge is that, well, wastewater is, it's not consistent. It has waste in it and all other kinds of other things. So how do you create a device that can, deal with all that stuff and have, longevity and also transfer the heat? So we've worked with a company that's a European company, and they've done some of this in Europe. It really hasn't been done here in the U.S. at all. So this is a very interesting project. So we got this device that was built in Europe. It's being installed in the next few days, and we'll be running our wastewater through it and see if we can extract this heat and see if we can use it for heating purposes. So it's a way, hopefully a very cheap way to provide at least some additional heat source to our system, if not entirely the heat. So I'm sure it's many years down the road before this would be a full application. But you got to test these things and pilot them, and this is a short-term test, just for a few months, because it's outside the building. Once it gets cold, you kind of the whole point is to take that heat, and if it's cold out, you're going to be cooling that stuff before you even use it.
Indeed. So this is a pilot program, and obviously we saw the unit being installed yesterday. How long is the pilot project going to last, and when will we know if it's going to be successful or not?
It's just going to be through the fall, like I say, before the cold weather sets in, we're going to be shutting that down. And, we're just borrowing the unit. We didn't buy that. It's just, we're cooperating with the manufacturer and through this grant. And then, at that time, they'll analyze all the data and see if this makes sense to be something that we might want to pursue. They may, sometimes, in this case, they may improve the unit based on the data and then reinstall it and do another pilot or a larger test, or then, see if they can get the material across the street and into the building and what devices might be needed there. So, like I say, it sometimes takes years for these things to take off, but it's a great, it's a great idea, and we'll see if it can be something that'll work and save us some money in the long run.
Absolutely. I love these new energy technologies that are coming out, that kind of seemingly simple technology, but a little challenging to get them up and running. But it'll be really cool to see if we can use that wastewater in a different way and cool our buildings efficiently, heat our buildings efficiently, and save some dollars. It's always a good thing. We like to save money. Great. Well, Dan, I thank you so much, as always, for joining us here on Barnstable This Morning. A pleasure to have you on the show. And we will check in with you again next week. Have a great day.
Okay, you're welcome, and I hope you have a great day yourself.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.